In this video, I'm going to share with you the 5 habits that helped me go from living at my parents' house, clueless about my path, to knowing exactly what I want from life. Let's get started. Have you ever wondered how some people seem to have it all together? How they seem to know exactly what they want from life? I know I have. If you don't know what you want from life, don't feel bad. Nearly 50% of college students say they don't know what career path they want to take, and a whopping 70% of graduates feel stressed about post-college life. The good news is you don't have to be a monk to figure out the meaning of life. You can develop 5 simple habits that will lead you towards a path of direction and purpose. 4 years ago, I graduated college, but I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. I was successful by normal standards, getting good grades, doing what I was supposed to, but now I was living at home with absolutely no plan for the future. If you've been there or are here now, you know how hard that anxiety and confusion can really be. It's taken me 4 years of studying, reflection, and gaining real-world experience to figure out what I want, but now I can confidently say that I know exactly what I want for my life. These habits help point you in the right direction, even if you're not 100% sure about the next step. And it all starts with having clear values and priorities. One of the most important things that you can do for your future self is making your values and priorities crystal clear right now. Values and priorities act as the core beliefs of what's important to you in your life. For example, I really value family. That's important to me. Some other people might value a successful career. Some people value travel. These are the general things that are really important to each one of us. I also really value time at home. This makes it easy for me to choose a career path that allows me to spend more time at home instead of maybe one that has more money, but I have to spend more time at the office. The key to habit number 1 is to have overall priorities and values. You just have to be general enough to have a path forward. Start by writing out some core values, beliefs, priorities about your life and what you want your life to look like, and then this will help things become more clear. These don't have to be super specific either. If you had your whole life planned out day by day, all the specifics were met, that would be boring and that wouldn't make life fun. However, you do need to have the basics down, and this leads us to habit number 2. Habit number 2 is to master the basics of life. This means your health, your sleep, nutrition, fitness, finances, all of those basic things of life. Now let's take a break and look at a good old pyramid for a second. Whoops, not that one. That's better. Many of you may have seen this before, but this colorful creation is the hierarchy of needs. It's a psychological theory that suggests we cannot find our path in life before we master the sections that come before it. When I was living in my parents' house, I had no money, I wasn't sleeping well, and I wasn't taking care of myself correctly. I was trying to figure out the top of the pyramid when I didn't even have the base yet. Once I started eating right, working on myself, making some real money, my path became so much more clear. Think about the people in life who have it all together. 9 out of 10 times, they are masters of the basics. Focus on getting yourself to the place you need to be at the bottom, the base of the pyramid, before you start asking yourself the tougher questions. This is what worked for me, and I think it will work for you too. But if we really want to make our paths clear, we might need to take some advice from a New York Times bestseller. When I was in college, I took a business class, and our professor made us read this book. As you can see, I opted for the used version. However, the advice in there is still the same. Stephen Covey is an author and an entrepreneur, and he wrote this book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It's gone on to sell over 30 million copies, so I think he knows a little bit about what he's talking about. Anyways, one of the major lessons in this book, and the 3rd habit for our video today, is to begin with the end in mind. This means that when we have a goal, we start with the end result, and then we reverse engineer the process back to the beginning to see what we need to do along the way. What do you want your life to look like? How do you want people to remember you? When we think about the end of our lives, what do we want to have accomplished? This is similar but very different from habit number 1, having clear values and priorities. While habit number 1 is more general, habit number 3 can be super specific. For example, my friend Jaden knows that he wants to be a pilot, and my other friend Ethan knows that he wants to retire in Mexico. These are specific end goals. However, if you're watching this video, most likely you are struggling or don't know exactly what you want the end of your life to look like. That's okay, don't worry. Think about specific types of things that you want to accomplish. Do you want to be in the educational field? Do you want to work outside someday? Do you want to live where it's warm and sunny? Specific things that you want your life to look like, and then you can engineer processes to get to that specific place. When you get specific about your end goal, it makes everything so much more clear and much easier. And you want to know what makes life a lot easier? Habit number 4. Habit number 4 is to compare yourself to others. Spend lots of time on social media looking at your friends' highlight reels, so that way you can feel bad about your own life. Yeah, don't do that. But truly, habit number 4 is to not compare yourself to others. This principle is so important that this psychologist even wrote an entire book on this premise. You might have heard of it. It's called The Anxious Generation, and it talks about how this new era of phones and social media, people are more depressed, stressed, anxious, less independent than ever, and we spend time comparing ourselves to others online, which is contributing to this. And while comparing yourself to your Instagram feed doesn't directly cause you to get off your path, it can make you feel stuck because you see other people, what they're doing, and you might question your own choices because you want to be like them. People who know what they want from life do not compare themselves to others. They have specific desires and goals that they know they want for their life, and that's it. They follow their own path, regardless of if it will look good on Instagram or not. You don't have to completely delete social media or buy a flip phone to make this possible, but the next time, just be aware if you're comparing yourselves to others on your social media feed, and remember that everyone is just posting their highlight reel, your path is not theirs, and everyone has a different timeline. Before we talk about the next habit, I'm curious to know if you guys have any habits that have helped you throughout life, things that have helped you figure out your path. If you do, drop them in the comments so we can share them with everyone and we can all learn from each other. Number 5 is one that has made a big difference for me personally. When I follow this habit, I feel like my actions and my choices are making a true difference, and I have more determination and grit to get things done that I need to. The last habit is to find a purpose outside of yourself. What does this look like? For me personally, I love my plants and animals. I studied animal science in college, and so having living things around me really makes me happy, but it also gives me a sense of responsibility and makes me prioritize the right decisions on what to do with my life. I also got married to my girlfriend of 5 years this last summer, so she's now my wife. Now I really got to figure out this life thing because it's not just me anymore. So what are some things that could depend on you? It sounds silly, but even having a plant or a pet fish that depends on you can give you that sense of responsibility that you're taking care of something outside of yourself and helps you move forward. But let me explain something to you that everyone can serve in order to make this habit much easier. That thing is you. It's you, your future, your hopes and dreams, your ambitions. All of those things rely on you. That's more important than anything. If you don't have a plant that needs watering or a cat that needs to be fed, you can always take care of yourself. Your future self is betting on what you do today. Sometimes when I'm not feeling like figuring out my life, I try to picture myself in the third person. I think about how I'm working to improve my life, reach my goals for that person, and it makes it a little bit easier to serve myself because I'm thinking about it from a different point of view. When life gets tough, this can be the little push that makes all the difference. I know it can be confusing and scary to not feel like you have any direction or purpose in your life. Trust me, I've been there. It sucks. But these habits have truly given me direction in life and changed my life for the better. If it worked for me, there's no reason it can't work for you. You'll feel much better about life and you'll be much more grateful for it. And speaking of gratitude, check out this video if you want to learn how I try to feel grateful for my life every day.